Our last video is going to be on the average rate of change. Average rate of change is very similar to slope. So pause the video and see, can you remember what the formula for finding a slope is? Okay, so hopefully you remember that slope was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is how we found slope for a linear line, okay? Which is the rate of change of a line. The average rate of change can also be change of an interval for any curve. So it doesn't have to be a linear line. I can find the average rate of change of a quadratic, of a parabola, of an exponential function, of a radical function, and so forth. The formula is very similar to the slope. Average rate of change, this formula is f of b minus f of a, which is the y at point B and the y at point A over b minus a. So you're still essentially finding slope. This is a y value minus a y value over an x value minus an x value. So here I noted that you have to have an interval. If you don't have an interval, you can't find the average rate of change of any curve because you need to know from what x to what x are you basically finding. So now let's take a look at the examples. So if we need to do y minus y and x minus x, I need to know what in the world is the y. So let's take y of the first one, f of 2. Okay, I'm starting with the bigger first because usually we say this is a and this is b. This will help your negatives because you take the larger one minus the smaller one and it helps reduce the amount of negatives you might have. So now we plug 2 in. So this would be negative 3 times 2 plus 2 times 2 to the second power plus 5. Put that in your calculator and that is negative 6 plus 8 plus 5, which is going to be 7. So f of 2 is 7. Now we do f of negative 2. So I have a negative 3 times a negative 2 plus 2, negative 2 times 2 plus 5. So now you could put that in your calculator, or I'll do it out, positive 6 this time, plus, still going to be 8, because a negative 2 times a negative 2 is positive. Make sure you have parentheses if you're using a calculator, plus 5. So that is going to be 19. Now we could go apply the formula. So a of x, the average rate of change, is going to be 7 minus 19 over 2 minus negative 2. So 7 minus 19 is a negative 12, and 2 minus a negative 2 is 4. So my average rate of change is a negative 3. And that is how you do average rate of change. Don't want to give you a long video. I am going to put these two activities in the next slides so that way you could try them.